Okay, we're going to begin. Good morning, everyone. My name is John Flores. I am Chair of the Town of Barnstable Licensing Authority, and to my immediate right is the Vice Chair, Larry Decker. To his right is Nancy Carlson-Lidman, who is our clerk. And then we have Jessica Silver, who's an associate member, and John Murphy, who is also an associate member. And to my immediate left is Director of Licensing, Erin Logan. So with that being said, I want to begin by indicating a notice of recording that this meeting of the Barnstable Licensing Authority is being recorded and broadcast on the Town of Barnstable's Government Access Channel. In accordance with Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 38, Section 20, the chair must inquire whether anyone else is recording this meeting, and if so, to please make their presence known. Is there anyone who is recording this? Okay, not seeing any. We will move to public comment. If there's anyone who would like to make a public comment before they might actually be on the agenda, feel free to do that now. You would have 3 minutes. Come in and sign. Make sure the microphone's on. I don't see any public comments. So let's move to the approval of the minutes of July 23. I assume that everybody has had the opportunity to take a look at these. Are there any suggested changes, deletions, additions, edits? Not seeing any, I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes from July 23rd, 2025.
I make a motion to approve the minutes of July 23rd, 2025.
Second. Okay, the motion's been made and seconded, and one final time. Any comments? Not seeing anyone, we'll take a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? That is a vote. Okay, let's move on to new applications. This is for 4 special one-day entertainment licenses. This is the Cirque Entertainment. I gotta put my glasses on for this. This is for the Cirque Entertainment, Roman numeral 6, LLC, business as Paranormal Cirque, Roman numeral 3, for 4 special one-day entertainment licenses to hold the Paranormal Circus, a live performing art show at 180 Falmouth Road, Hyannis, as noted below. The first one will be August 29th. It's one show at 7:30. The second is August 30th. 2 shows, one at 6:30 and 9:30, followed by August 31st. 2 shows, one at 5:30, one at 8:30, and finally on September 1, 2025, there'll be 1 show at 7:30. So with that being said, is there anyone here from the Paranormal Cirque, Roman numeral 3? If you could come up, introduce yourself, tell us who you are, and tell us what this is all about.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Alina Patrana, and I'm the general manager of the circus. We was here last year,
Yes.
and the show is about horror, cabaret, acrobatic. So it's not traditional circus; it's something different. And we are back because we worked very well last year. So.
Okay, I'm curious about with the name paranormal. What I think of paranormal, I think of ghosts. I think of
Exactly.
Like, am I going to see someone who's on the trapeze, but I don't see them?
So it's a fake ghost. It's not, it's something horror. So we try to do something different. And this show for a lot of people. So, but this is acrobatic too. So it's a circus, but in different thematic.
Okay. Any questions from any members of the commission?
How many employees?
We have about 45.
Okay, and that's pretty much who travels with you all the time?
Yes.
Okay. Anybody else? Director Logan, comments?
Thank you. Officer Kelsey, unfortunately, is unable to be here today, but has submitted some comments that he would like 2 details per each event.
Anything else? That's it?
That is all.
Okay, then we'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I just entertain a quick question for the...
Oh, I'm sorry, yes.
Did you have a police detail last year?
Last year's, no. If I remember, no.
So there was a requirement last year as well that they request 2 police detail.
Okay.
Any other questions from anyone on the authority? Okay, then, I guess we can entertain a motion.
I move to approve the application for Cirque Entertainment 6 LLC, doing business as Paranormal Cirque 3, for 4 special one-day entertainment licenses as submitted, with the requirement that 2 police details are requested.
Yes, we have it. This year we have it.
Okay.
We have the police officer and fire marshal.
Okay.
Thank you. Second.
Okay, the motion's been made. There's a second, including the required police details. Any other questions or issues of concern? Not hearing any, we'll entertain a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that is a vote. Good luck. I hope you get a good audience.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the next item on the agenda, item number 2 is a new special one-day beer and wine license. This is an application that's been filed by Kami Perry on behalf of the first Cape Cod Brazilian Independence Day to be held at Azleton Park on September 7th, 2025, from 2 to 7 p.m. The event organizers are seeking a one-day beer and wine license. Beer and wine will be served by Fabio Lima. Current TIPS certification is on file. And I assume you are here to represent the group and to tell us what this is about. So if you could introduce yourself and tell us who you are.
Hello? Yeah. My name is Fabio Lima. I'm the owner of Perry Lima Cafe with my wife, Cami Perry. And we also own the Hearth and Kettle in South Yarmouth. And we are looking to join my friend here, Michael, who is doing the first Brazilian Day event. We're going to serve beer and wine, and we'll make sure we check the IDs. We're going to give a bracelet to everybody who's able to, have beer and wine. And that's it, if you have any questions.
Okay, I'm sure someone from here has a question. Commissioner Decker?
Yes, how do you, this is at Azleton Park, how are you controlling the flow of people?
Yes, we went there yesterday. We're going to put the beer and wine tents, facing the stage, and we're going to have our staff. We have like 30 or more volunteers who are going to be making sure the beer or wine are not leaving the park, And also we're going to have police details, I believe.
Yeah, okay.
And we're also going to have the bracelet, so they're going to be paying attention to make sure everybody who's drinking have a bracelet on,
How many people are you expecting?
How many people, what do you think? Michael is the guy who's...
Okay.
Good morning, everyone. So we're expecting about like 200, 250.
Okay. Any other questions from anyone on the authority?
So are you going to have someone stationed at the entrances and exits? That's the plan?
Yeah, that's exactly the plan. Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Director Logan, any comments?
Thank you. Just, again, from Officer Kelsey, they're required to request 2 police detail for this event. And then I want to remind them that I need a certificate of liability insurance, naming the town of Barnstable as additional insured with regards to the liquor liability. I cannot issue the license without that, so let's just make sure we have that prior to.
Yeah. I thought Cami uploaded, but if you don't see it yet?
She uploaded a policy, but
Okay.
it's a one-page document that your
Okay.
insurance agent provides. It's a certificate of insurance, also referred to as an Accord 25. The best thing to do is just call your insurance agent, and if they have questions, they can
Okay.
call me.
Yeah, no problem.
But it's just important to protect the town assets.
Okay, yeah,
Thank
no
you.
problem.
So this motion will be subject to that
Okay.
inclusion.
I move to approve the special one-day license filed by Cami Perry on behalf of the first Cape Cod Brazilian Independence Day, subject to the receipt of a certificate of liability insurance naming the town of Barnstable as additional insured and requesting 2 police details.
Second.
Any other issues, questions? Not hearing anyone, we'll take a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is a vote. Good luck. I hope it's a good day of weather for
Thank you, I
you.
appreciate it. I'll make sure I
Good luck.
give the certificate to you. Thank you. Have a good day.
Okay, item number 3 on the agenda is to amend the annual Chapter 12 all alcohol common victualler license. This is a change of manager. An application has been filed by GMRI Inc., doing business as the Olive Garden Restaurant, number 1523, at 1095 INO Road, Hyannis, to amend the licensed alcohol manager from David Marshall to Megan Betancourt. Is someone here from the Olive Garden? No one is here from the Olive Garden.
Wait till the end of the,
Well, we'll give them till the end of the meeting to show up. If not, we'll move it to another meeting, because I don't want to approve anything until we meet these people. I'm sure the rest of the commission feels the same way.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll move to item, we'll skip over 4, we'll move to item number 5, because item number 4 actually has been moved to continue that till September 24th, 2025. Item number 5 is to amend the non-live entertainment license. This is an application that's been filed by Hyannis LSOF Operating LLC, doing business as Margaritaville Resort Cape Cod, to amend the existing non-live entertainment license to include recorded music below conversation level, as well as 20 TVs throughout the hotel, including both indoor and at the outdoor pool deck. So I assume you're here to represent Margaritaville. If you can introduce yourself and tell us what's going to go on with this, please.
Yes, good morning. My name is Dawson Cooper. I'm an attorney with Upton, Cannell, and Devlin, representing the Margaritaville Resort. This is Rachel Thayer with me today on behalf of Margaritaville. And like you just said, we're amending the non-live entertainment license to add the 20 televisions and recorded music below a conversational level.
Okay. And your role, you said Rachel?
Yes, I'm the general manager.
You're the GM, okay. Okay, questions from the authority?
So presently, could you kind of outline what is in existence already?
So, in regards to the television or the entertainment?
The music.
The music? Right now, we're
Yeah.
only referring to the outdoor pool. That was not covered initially in our original license, and we are looking to put conversational level music at the outdoor pool, along with possibly one solo artist during the day. We keep all of this, of course, before 6 p.m., not to impact anyone nearby. And then as far as the televisions go, at the time of our licensing, we didn't have the exact number that were going to be mounted in the Landshark Bar and Grill. And then we do have one outside on our deck. Those are non-volume, they're just visual aid to the music being played on property.
Okay.
thank you.
I would just want to make one comment that relative to below conversation level, that's critical, because there have been some issues that have come up from Margaritaville in the past where the noise has been overwhelming to the people who are abutters to that property. So I want to protect, if you will, their standard of living. So let's be sure that any kind of sound emanating from that facility, whether it's the pool, whether it's internally, is kept at a level that obviously the folks who are living in that neighborhood can live with.
Absolutely. And the outdoor pool is actually surrounded by guest rooms, as well as the courtyard where other live entertainment may be, is completely surrounded by our guest rooms. So we're very conscientious of that level.
Good. Good to hear. Larry?
Did I understand you to say that the music would cease at 6 p.m.?
If we have any live entertainment out at the outdoor pool,
Yes.
it has been discussed to only have it during the early afternoon hours. The piped-in music would be during pool hours. So again, single player, we are not looking to have a band at all out there. That's not the intention.
Any other questions from the authority? Director Logan, any questions or any issues?
Just going to read comments again from Officer Kelsey. Forgive me because I need to get back there. Okay. Okay. It is my understanding, again, this is verbatim from Officer Kelsey. My understanding is that there have been noise complaints from the adjacent neighborhood behind the hotel. He has received 2 phone calls and believe Chairman Flores has also received phone calls. The complaints were in regard to outdoor entertainment late afternoon into the evening. I do not believe that there have been any complaints recently, but he has not had the opportunity to look at the call log or to pull up the history as he's been out sick for a week and a half.
And we did address those too. It was when we were under construction, and we had, for better lack of words, a tent city in our courtyard where our groups were actually holding their events, whereas now we're completed with construction and all of that is held inside the building.
That's why I raised the question. I've had personal phone calls from folks who I know who live in that neighborhood who are complaining about the level of the noise. So if it's below conversation level, which I guess would be about 60 decibels or up in that range, I think that would keep peace in the family, so to speak, and that's what we're about.
And so am I.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, then we shall entertain a motion.
I move to approve the application submitted by Hyannis LSOF, operating LLC, DBA Margaritaville Resort, Cape Cod, to amend the existing non-live entertainment and one player as submitted.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any other discussion? Not hearing any, we will take a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? That is a vote. Good luck.
Thank
Keep the
you.
volume down.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to enter into public hearings. The first item on the public hearing agenda is a new annual daily live entertainment and to amend the daily non-live entertainment license from an application filed by 235 Ocean Partners LLC, doing business as The Break, located at 235 Ocean Street, Hyannis, for a new annual daily live entertainment license and amending the daily non-live entertainment license. The applicant requests up to 3 live amplified performers on the outside covered patio daily until 10 p.m. They propose to increase the daily non-live entertainment license by adding 2 TVs on the second floor inside, 2 TVs on the first floor inside, and 1 TV on the first floor covered patio, which will be outside. The non-live entertainment will be commensurate with alcohol service hours.
Chair,
I just missed this. This
That's
matter
okay.
is being continued.
I'll make a comment on that if I will. The legal ad was issued and the abutter notices were not. So that is a requirement of this application. So this will be.
So we'll move it to the 24th?
Correct.
Okay.
Thank you.
I better keep my glasses on. Item number 2 is the new annual daily live and daily non-live entertainment license. It's an application filed by POUR, that's P-O-U-R, Decisions Wine Bar, Inc., 388 Main Street, Hyannis, for an annual daily live and daily non-live entertainment license as follows. Daily live entertainment to include up to 2 non-amplified performers inside, and then daily non-live entertainment to include recorded music at conversation level, 2 TVs and music videos inside. Live and non-live entertainment are proposed daily from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. Anyone here from POUR Decisions? If you could come up, please. Tell us what the plan is and how we keep this sound so it's not disturbing neighbors in that part of Hyannis.
Sure. Hi, my name is Anna. I'm one of the owners, and so the plan is to have a live entertainment like maybe Fridays and Saturdays for a couple hours. We're planning on just 1 singer, like a jazz singer, maybe 2, and that's pretty much about it. So for the live entertainment, and we have to have some music in the background when we open on the other days, and TVs for the customers and guests. So that's
Okay.
pretty much it.
Questions from anyone on the authority?
And this live entertainment is going to be only inside.
I'm sorry, what was that?
This live entertainment is only inside.
Yes.
Okay, again, the only observation I would make is the level of sound. We always want to be sure that it's under control so that those folks who live in the immediate neighborhood are not being impacted in a negative way. So if you could maintain that as a number 1 goal, that
Of
works
course.
well with us as a licensing authority. Any comments from the staff?
I have
Director
no
Logan?
no comments on this. The hours of entertainment are commensurate with other establishments on Main Street.
In that case, we shall entertain a motion.
I move to approve the new daily live and non-live entertainment application for Poor Decisions Wine Bar, 388 Main Street, Hyannis, as submitted.
Second.
Okay, any other further discussion? This is a public hearing, so is there anyone from the public who wants to speak to this? Not seeing any. I'll entertain a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is a vote. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good luck with it. Okay, item number 3 in this public hearing is a new Class 2 auto dealer license. This is an application that's been filed by Cape Motors, Inc., 711 Yarmouth Road, Hyannis, for a new Class 2 auto dealer license. It's a maximum of 22 spaces, which includes 7 display spaces, 1 handicapped accessible space, and 14 employee and customer spaces. Repairs of inventory vehicles only will be performed by Clario Auto, located at 362 Yarmouth Road in Hyannis. Daily hours of operation will be Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 p.m., and Saturday, 9 to 2 p.m. Is there someone here from Cape Motors? If you would be so kind as to introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about what this is all about.
I'm Flavio from Cape Motors.
I'm Marcia Drag. I'm just here to do the translation work for Flavio.
Okay. Well, I'll open it up to members of the commission. Any questions from anybody?
There was a, what he just read on the displays and on the number of vehicles has been changed, is that correct?
Correct. It's 25, 22 inventory, 1 employee, 1 handicap, and 1 customer.
Right, okay.
I think
Thank
the
you.
office went off from the old license.
Right,
Yeah.
thank you.
Any comments from, not hearing any. Director Logan, any comments?
No, I just think noteworthy later on in the agenda, you'll see a request for temporary closure. Cape Motors has an existing or had an existing Class 2 auto dealer at a different location. So that location is closed while they're opening this one.
Okay. All right. Not hearing any more questions, we'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve the Class 2 dealer license for Cape Motors, Inc., located at 711 Yarmouth Road, Hyannis, as submitted.
Do we have a second? Okay, the motion's been made, a second. Any other discussion? Not hearing any, we'll take a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that is a vote. Good luck.
Thank you.
Hope business goes well. Okay, next, item 4 on the agenda, that is going to be continued until September 24th, 2025, which is our next meeting, which brings us to a discussion about Neptune, which is located at 541 Main Street, Hyannis. It's an update discussion regarding the increased capacity as requested by the authority at their March 26, 2025 public hearing. So you're here to represent Neptune. If you can introduce yourself and refresh our memory what we're trying to do here.
Sure. I'm Dan Smith. I'm the owner of Neptune's. So last, when was it? May? April? March, okay, yeah. There was a discussion on our capacity. Building code would allow us to be 596. And then after our discussion that day, we kind of kept it at 400 inside instead. And then, totally fine with that. Aaron emailed me the other day and said, hey, just a heads up. We said we would kind of have a discussion after the summer, towards the end of summer, and just kind of give you like an update on everything. And my update is everything's going good. Not proposing any changes. I think we're fine with where we're at. Yeah, I don't really have much else to say, to be honest.
Have there been any issues of concern that have been raised, Director Logan?
So just, I personally have not received any complaints. I do have comments again from Officer Kelsey. I have had to have some minor conversations with the owners about volume, but for the most part, things have been going well there. I do think we need to keep an eye on capacity, and we also need to talk about consistency on outdoor entertainment restrictions. This does not single it out. Yeah, it's a townwide issue. Officer Kelsey would like to at some point have a conversation about outdoor entertainment.
Okay, we can always do that down the road. But at this point, any questions from anyone on the?
Have you had the opportunity to collect any kind of numbers as to what, at any particular day, how you've run? I mean, we put down 400, but I mean, are we way off, or are we way over, or where are we at?
No, I would say, our busiest day was 4th of July, 5th of July, 3rd of July, somewhere around there. It really helps with our big outdoor space. And we have large garage doors, and we're not a traditional restaurant where we have people come in, we seat them, or we kind of like keep them in one area. We're very fluid, so people will come into the bar, and then they'll go out and listen to the band, or they'll come into the bar, they'll maybe play some pool, and then go out and sit by a fire pit. So like people are kind of moving all around, and I kind of just anecdotally kind of walk through, and it inside never really gets that crazy because it's the summer and most people want to kind of hang outside. So, like I said, as we go into the fall and the outside space becomes less desirable as it becomes 30 degrees outside, it's going to be a lot easier to kind of just, say we have a band inside and we know it's going to be popular. I'm going to be sitting or my manager or anybody is going to be sitting at the front door and just kind of clicking people in, just because we're not going to have that benefit of the fluidity of indoor-outdoor.
Thank you.
So I'm sorry. Do you presently have a mechanism that you're kind of keeping, or you're just kind of eyeballing everything then?
I mean, our best mechanism right now is wristbands. So we start wristbanding people at 6 p.m., and that goes right up until midnight when we close. And, we know how many wristbands we're going through. But again, it's a lot of indoor, outdoor. Yeah.
Okay. You could have 1,000 wristbands and half of them could leave.
Yep, 100%. Yeah, it's. At the end of the day, I'm walking through the indoor space and 400 people in that inside
and you
space.
Have an idea,
it would be very, very tight. So.
Okay.
That's where I wanted to ask. Have you actually had days that you've had 400 people?
Not that I know of. I don't think so. It's hard for me to walk around and go, that to 400 people. At the end of the day, my.
You don't have someone at the entrance with a counter or anything of that sort?
No, because again, with the inside and outside, it's, garage doors. I have multiple entrances and exits into the inside space. You know what I mean? So it's hard to kind of govern, okay, there's this many people inside and this many people outside, and then that changes 30 seconds later. My main thing is I'm keeping exits clear, making sure people can get out. Again, it's not very hard with giant garage doors open. And just kind of, alleyways that my staff can operate, because we're running food, we're running drinks and things like that. So again, the summer's been pretty easy to maintain because a lot of people like to just kind of hang outside. And then we'll see the challenges of the fall and winter, but it's going to be a lot, like the garage doors will be closed, and it's going to be a lot easier just to keep track of how many people
How do you
are in.
plan your staffing? I'm just curious.
What's that?
How do you plan your staffing? I'm just curious whether you expect historically, you don't really have a calendar to look back on, I assume.
Sure.
So, a year from now, you can say on July 3rd, we had 300 people, so I have to staff for 300 versus now, you're not really sure how many are coming in the door unless you take an average. So how do you deal with the staffing to make sure you have enough people on board, making sure that things are running smoothly, the music's not too loud, there's people not roaming in and out?
Yeah, so we are on the side of overstaffing, and that's me as an owner. I'd rather overstaff. The bartenders, who are kind of splitting tips up, they don't love it as much. So it's really a delicate balance. Now, what we can do is, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are very different than Friday and Saturday. So, as the summer started and we kind of overstaffed, and we've done really well, to be honest, of kind of finding that line of the balance that I was talking about. So it's more of just, we have record of all of our numbers week over week over week, and it stays pretty consistent, to be honest. Saturday was a lot like last Saturday, which was a lot like the last Saturday. And then we know 4th of July week, we know what that's going to be. Same thing with this weekend of Labor Day weekend and Memorial Day weekend. Those are kind of like your, increased capacity-wise in staffing.
Do you see your staff, do you see the number of customers coming in increase during, like, for example, for athletic events on television, or?
So it depends. Like last year we had the indoor space, and it's funny, like the first couple weeks of the NFL Sunday, everyone's excited, and then the Patriots stunk all last year, so then everyone kind of lost their excitement. But yeah, you'll see that, and it's something I can always keep an eye on. The other benefit is that, like, me and my brother are always there, so whatever we staff it with the hopes that we don't need to step in and bartend or do security or anything like that. But at the end of the day, it's like I have me, my brother, and our general manager who can kind of step in to any role that we go, okay, hey, we actually need another bartender. We actually need another person at the bar or at the door or whatever it may be.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Okay, not hearing any. I want to thank you for, there's not going to be any motion to accept anything because there's nothing to approve, but I want to thank you for coming back and sharing with us how things are going.
Sure. No, I appreciate all the feedback.
You're a good neighbor. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks
Good
so
luck
much.
this fall.
Okay, the next item is regarding the Blue Moon, which will be moved to September 24th. The reason being that I guess the investigation as to what occurred there, the two incidents, the investigation is still ongoing. So we don't need a motion to keep this moving forward. The only question I would have is, this will be ready by September 24th? It's
Sure,
taking
and-
longer than I would have expected.
Of course, understood. So, for just a little bit of background without, diving into it, the incident that kind of precipitated this occurred on August 16th, 11 days ago. So we tried to get this on the agenda right away. In all honesty, between not, having a report to work off of and the request of the attorney, there was an attorney that was brought on days before the meeting, and we were requested for that continuance. So given the request for continuance and not having anything tangible to give to you folks to have a substantive conversation, I reached out to our legal counsel, and I was told in no uncertain terms that, moving forward, I should not be putting things like this on the agenda without some type of tangible report to refer to. Doesn't mean it has to necessarily be the final report, but, we don't want to have sensitive conversations out there and potentially risk a liability on part of the town and the Barnstable Police Department. This is how we've decided to proceed. I think in any case where an attorney comes, or even the applicant, had they asked to continue, I think it's fair to continue at least once. But, again, this was a discussion between legal counsel and, of course, you, Chair. So just to make sure I wasn't overstepping my boundaries.
Okay. Thank you.
I do have a comment from Officer Kelsey, if I may. Is that good?
Please.
Great, thank you. All right, okay. He just wanted to make a brief statement that there have been complaints of excessive noise and overcrowding. He personally observed excessive noise and overcrowding. There is now an issue with patrons and non-patrons hanging out on the sidewalk directly adjacent to the Blue Moon and smoking marijuana, which he has observed. We recently have had 2 incidents of assaults which may or may not have been tied to the Blue Moon. This is under investigation, and a report will be prepared for the September meeting. As he understands, Attorney Lawler has asked for a continuance.
Okay, any comments from anyone on the authority?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I have several comments, but I certainly respect the opinions that this needs to be continued for legal reasons. But I don't really want to drone on too long about my conversation when I see the 2 young ladies sitting out in the audience. If they have something matter before the board that you would entertain taking them, and we can maybe go back and revisit my comments on the Blue Moon, that'll be up to you, sir.
Sure, we can do that so we don't keep you held here. I don't see you on the agenda, though.
You were on the consent agenda, so you don't need to be here.
Yeah. You're good to go.
That is a repeat event. But
Seeing you are here, I will take this out of order, but why don't you come up and just tell us what's going to happen? Seeing you took the time, effort, and energy to join us when you actually didn't have to.
Be here and happy to do it. Good morning, everyone. I'm Emily Wagner, Executive Director of CCYP. The Bash is the Cape's largest annual networking event. For many years, about 18, actually, we were at the airport.
Yes, you were.
We were. Have you been before?
Yeah, I chair the airport commission too,
Oh,
so
beautiful.
I go every year.
Oh,
It's a
beautiful.
huge crowd.
You should come to the community
Maybe I
college
will.
this year. Yeah, please do. Yeah, we're really excited about the change. TSA, of course, is the reason why we had to shift locations. They're
Yes.
expanding where our tents usually go, but it's kind of a gift in some ways because I think that
Just as an aside, the reason that we couldn't host it this year is with American Airlines now flying in and JetBlue, we had to build a tent in the location where normally it's actually the employee parking lot, which has gone away. Employees now park in the general parking lot too, because we have to go through the appropriate security protocols as required by the FAA. So that's why we lost it. Not that we didn't want you back.
we left it there, and we were grateful for the many years we were there, of course. While we'll miss being at the airport and having it be in such a novel location, having it at the community college is a real opportunity to bridge that gap between folks who are looking for careers, their next chapter, who are really growing and blooming where they're planted, and connecting them with the community that's here. So we're really grateful to Dr. Cox, the president of 4Cs, as well as the entire team there for letting us try it out and see how it goes.
Where are you actually holding it?
We'll be in the Science and Engineering Center.
The Wilkins Center,
The new
center.
building, yeah, it's
Okay.
gorgeous. And Kelly, who's our event coordinator, will attest that the folks who we've brought there for walkthroughs to tour the space, our vendors, exhibitors, very few have been to the community college ever or in the last 5 to 10 years.
Right.
So we're thinking about 800 to 1,000 people will come to the community college for the first time and really see this gem of a building, everything they have to offer, and enjoy a really great toast to second summer.
Excellent. Yeah, that's a beautiful building. There's a beautiful courtyard where I'm sure you'll be setting up and enjoying it. I've been there many times.
Yeah,
It's a
definitely.
great spot.
Please come. Yeah, open invitation. We're expecting it to be sold out. So, yeah, let us know if you'd like to be on the guest list.
Sounds great.
Thank
Any
you so much.
questions, comments from anyone on the authority? Well,
Yes,
again,
good
you
luck.
didn't have to come here, but thank you for coming and sharing with us.
We appreciate it. We appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Did you have a
Good
comment?
luck.
Somebody?
Many thanks.
Wait a minute.
I didn't know if I thought John Murphy had.
No, he didn't.
No, all set. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, so we will return back to a discussion that started under the Blue Moon, item number 2 under discussions. Commissioner Murphy.
Yes, thanks, Mr. Chairman. I'm sorry to mess up the agenda a little
That's
bit, but
okay.
I didn't think that those ladies needed to hear me wax poetically up here about something that
And you wax poetically quite well.
we'll see. Thank you very much. My concern in the point of my bringing this topic up is not specifically tied to the Blue Moon investigation per se, but it also piggybacks on the recent hearing that we had with the Tiki Port. And both of them have something in common, meaning that they're involved pretty serious incidents. They involved sensitive investigations, and they also had a connection between the licensing authorities' obligations and duties and the police department's, duties. And sometimes those two things are on the same track, but sometimes they also run into conflicts a little bit. And it's a pretty tightrope walk to comply with what we need to hear to make decisions and what they need to do to protect the integrity of the case, to protect the town against liability in making false accusations or making the correct criminal charges. And just as a side comment, in the Tiki Port investigation, as far as that incident, we waited. The incident happened in March, and at the hearing we learned, which took place in June because of obviously the reasons I just stated, we learned that starting in January, there was some allegations, I guess, that turned out to be true because Tiki Port ended up taking a license and suspension for it, but I don't really want to get down that road. But it started in January, and then this incident happened in March, and then because of the case management, we didn't hear about it till June. But there was, the issue was that we heard was the operating after hours. And I don't think that, my opinion, that we would have necessarily had to wait until June to hear the information to make a ruling on operating after hours. Now, some of the other allegations about disorderly conduct inside the bar, what spilled out the duty to supervise, yes, certainly. But the operating after hours, that was presented, I think we could have gone down a track in early April to hear that without compromising the case, without jeopardizing anything, because the fact pattern had nothing to do with what took place or allegedly took place in the parking lot. It was what they were alleged to be serving after hours. And I just don't know how we, as a group, try to get on the same page with the police department or have a discussion about these type of issues, because like the Blue Moon, just for an example, we're talking about now sidewalk congestion, marijuana use, overcrowding, loud music. That has nothing to do with, those are things that happened prior to the stabbing or the two violent acts, whatever took place. So I would like to see at some point in time maybe some discussion between the police department and the board when we come up with these issues that have duality, that we can try to find some common ground and fulfill our duties on what we need to do on something to protect public safety and what they need to do to protect the integrity of their investigation. Because we certainly, in my opinion, could have had a hearing in April regarding the serving after hours. Right. And I believe now, based on some of these allegations, that I understand they're just allegations about overcrowding and poor management prior to that event, that we could have maybe taken some action before September, or at least had a discussion, whether it's an executive session with the police department, so we can get the facts, and then make a determination between us on what's the best way to proceed to protect our interests and protect their interests and protect the town's interests. But just to continue stuff from an event that happened in March all the way until June can be problematic. And
I would agree with you 100%. I was quite concerned with the whole issue of Tiki Port, how it was handled, how it was reported, why it took so long for us to be able to get it on the agenda and actually bring it to the public's attention and take care of business as we did. I think I'm seeing the same thing begin here with the Blue Moon. There seems to be a pattern that when there are critical kinds of issues that occur, that it's taking too long for information to be given to us so that we can deal with the appropriate related elements, if you will, of what we need to do. The Blue Moon was a serious one. It's not on the agenda, but I mean, pretty much the general public knows that there was a stabbing. And just as when we were talking about Tiki Port, there were other related kinds of issues that were ongoing. So I am concerned that from a mutual, interdependent, if you will, sense of responsibility, police department and licensing board, that we need to work more closely together and get on the same page relative to when a serious accusation comes up, how long does it take for something to get from the police investigation to where we need to deal with something appropriately. And I would support having a meeting with whomever would be the folks at the police, including Officer Kelsey, perhaps the chief, or whomever else would be responsible, along with myself and other members of this board to figure out how we can better support each other to make sure that we're moving things along in a timely way, because it's taking too long for things to get from point A to point B. So I would agree with you, Commissioner Murphy, 100%. Larry, you have a comment?
This whole thing is very interesting, being that I received a personal phone call at home from a well-known business person who brought up this very exact circumstances about Tiki Port and about what Mr. Murphy has just explained. And this individual was very concerned, and was concerned because there seems to be and at least in his opinion, there was a tendency to address things when they want to address them, and then other times certain businesses, for the lack of another word, get picked on. So, but his major complaint in the phone, which he kept me on for quite a while, was the Tiki Port issue. And so others see the same thing that Mr. Murphy has brought forth. So it's something we need to address.
Mr. Chairman, if I may make a point of clarification.
Please.
I certainly didn't mean to open up Pandora's box regarding the police department's interaction with the licensing board, especially when Officer Kelsey or a representative from the police department is not here to address our concerns. And my concerns aren't to fault or point blame or say that things weren't done proper or improper. The genesis of my comment is that these things take time. I understand that. We can't control if an attorney wants a continuance so he can further investigate it. We can't stand in the way of that if we're dealing with the car accident in the parking lot or the alleged stabbing on Main Street. I get that part. My point is to maybe try to open up some conversation between the police department and the staff of the licensing folks and the board about how we can navigate those tricky waters and maybe parse out some of these complaints and deal with what the licensing authority can deal with immediately and not compromise the investigation. I've had the pleasure to wear both hats. I've been an investigator. I've been the chief's representative to the board, and now I am an associate member of the board. So I understand all of the issues. There were times when I was doing investigations that I didn't even want to share stuff with Chief McDonald. And he's the chief of police because it was that sensitive in nature. But I did, obviously, he's the CEO of the police department. But so I get the sensitivity of it, and I get the legal restrictions that the police department is put under, especially from the district attorney's office and the judges and discovery and the rules of evidence and all of those things. But I just think that we can maybe do a better job as an entity to try to navigate and carve out those niches that we can take immediate action on or immediate discussion on with some of the facts, not all of the facts. And that was the genesis of it.
Okay. Any other comments?
I did also receive a phone call, and I believe it's from the same person.
Is your microphone on?
Yes.
Okay.
Regarding the same issue that Mr. Decker received.
Okay. Well, I guess the bottom line is that obviously the more communication that we can have between the licensing authority and the police department would make it better for everyone involved. I don't think any of us up here are being critical of anyone or anything or any department in particular, but I think Commissioner Murphy raises a good point. If there's a better way that we can strategize collectively together to improve, A, communication, to improve, B, better results, that we monitor what is going on in the town, representing, if you will, the citizenry of the community, that, you know, it's in our best interest to do so. So I would ask you, Erin, to
I'd like to respond.
follow up on this,
If I-
and
yeah.
let's set up some kind of a meeting that would make sense. If there is more than, I guess, 2 of us are full members. If there's more than 2 associate members, it would have to be a public meeting, and then we could always go into executive session if we had to.
So I will say that the town attorney has clarified that this is not a matter that would qualify for executive session. That being said, I would like to kind of add my input, if I may. I guess first and foremost, please, if you are receiving calls, please let me know, because that's important to moving things along. And certainly no, you can take it as you'd like. I am the only regulatory division that is staffed by one person in the town. I have no administrative assistant. I am doing it all. It is out there, and it's no secret. So I do rely on folks letting me know when things come in, and as the director of licensing, I hope that they would be directed direct to me, so I can take some action. That being said, I think I am reflecting on how we've been handling matters, kind of having these in-person meetings between myself and Officer Kelsey on what I would argue would be smaller matters. This was not, which is why we elevated it to a meeting. And I'm wondering, discussions we can have, but maybe we forgo that and go back to every complaint comes to the licensing authority. Open for discussion, but I think for sure, Chair Flores, myself, and Officer Kelsey should be having discussions on procedure. Things have been loose for lack of anything other than staffing, and it's sometimes the path of least resistance on some level, but I mean it when I say public safety is important to me. I want to go to an establishment and know that I'm not going to be harmed in any way and that I'm being taken care of, and I would expect that for everyone in this room. But I definitely think a hard discussion on policy and how we want to handle these types of matters moving forward, I think it has to happen.
Okay, then we will follow up accordingly and figure out what the next steps will be at the conclusion of this meeting as we move forward. And again, I just want to reiterate that no one is casting any type of dispersion on anyone or anything or the way things have been handled, just in terms of how things get communicated back to the licensing authority and how we have the capacity to act upon a particular issue. I think we need to take a look at so that we are a better authority that's really representing, if you will, the best interests of not only the business owners, but just as important, and in some cases more important, the general public. We want to ensure that things are running smoothly and that safety is first and foremost. With that being said, I'll just ask for any other comments relative to this discussion.
Just to follow up,
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, on Director Logan's comments. Specifically to Director Logan, I just want to say that I am speaking for myself. I couldn't be more than satisfied with your efforts. I recognize since my time on the board how hard you work and the product that you put out. So please do not take anything that I said in a way that is a reflection on the duty that you do and the responsibilities you have, because in my mind, you uphold those every single day, and you come here prepared, and I truly appreciate your input. My point was just that I think all of these things are learning experiences, and we learn that we all learn how to do a better job. We have I'm a new member of the board. The chairman is new. The vice chairman is not new to the board, but new to that position. We have a new member. So we're all working together, and it's a common goal. And the common goal is to do what we do every day here. So I just want to say thank you.
I think we all echo that sentiment. Okay, any other comments relative to this? Not hearing any. We have correspondence. There is a, which we are all aware of, there's a notice of violation has been received by the ABC Alcohol Beverages Control Commission for Bob's Liquors, located at 167 Corporation Street, Hyannis, for the alleged sale or delivery of an alcoholic beverage to a person under the age of 21. We don't have to take a vote on this, but Director Logan, is there anything else that we need to know?
There isn't. This is just a notice from the state. Once we have a final decision, I'll forward that to the board. There's no action to be taken other than to make a note of this violation for future.
Okay. And then we have comments on the temporary and permanent closures. This is relative to Cape Motors, who came to us earlier in the meeting, which we voted for those changes, located at 20 Bearses Way. It's the permanent closure of that location in applying to move to the new location. If you'd like to comment on that, Director Logan.
I have no comments on that, on the
Okay.
temporary closure.
For the general public, just Cape Motors did close their 20 Bearses Way Hyannis location earlier this summer. And I guess, do we need to make a motion to accept the permanent notice of closure as submitted?
Why not?
Why not? Okay.
When in doubt, take a vote.
Well, let's do it.
I make a motion to accept the permanent notice of closure as submitted
Is
by
there a
Cape
second?
Motors.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Not hearing any, we'll take a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. The consent agenda, which was the Kings Grant Racket Club, located at 12 Old Kings Road in Katuitt. They're having their annual Katuitt Oyster Festival on September 24th, 2025, from 12 to 6 p.m. in the Cape Cod Young Professional, CCYP. We did give those women the opportunity, representing CCYP, to speak. It's their 13th annual Back to Business Bash, and that will be on September 12th from 5:30 to 8 p.m. Any comments from anyone on the board or
I
from
do.
staff? Yes.
Officer Kelsey would request one traffic detail. That is a finicky intersection, and he feels the need to have someone directing the traffic.
For which
the
one?
I'm sorry, for the King's Grant application.
Okay.
I make a motion to accept the consent agenda as printed with the addition of one traffic detail for the Kings Grant Racket Club and the Katuitt Oyster Festival.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? Not hearing any. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that is a vote. Next are licensing updates. Any other additional updates from the licensing authority? Director Logan?
I think just a reminder to the public that, and to our licensees, that we're on the footsteps of renewal season. So information will be coming out. Get your documents ready. Outside of that, I think we're good for right now. And I do have a comment from Officer Kelsey when it comes time for police department.
Well, you can move right into it because that's item number 2, which is police department updates.
Awesome. From Officer Kelsey, there needs to be a discussion and development of policy for outdoor entertainment restrictions. There are a number of licensees with different outdoor restrictions specifically to time that outdoor entertainment is allowed. For consistency purposes, these restrictions should be uniform. So just a conversation he's looking to have in the future. And I know last year I had provided a spreadsheet that provided all of the entertainment. I'm happy to update that because obviously we've had some new establishments, and we've also had some establishments that have amended their licenses. So I can have that ready if you are willing
Sure.
to have a discussion at the September
We will
meeting.
do that. If you could also, do we actually have a policy on anything that's been debated or discussed today relative to,
We don't. And
We
one
don't.
one of
do we have a policy handbook per se that lists certain kinds of things? If not, we probably should have a policy.
We don't, and I would like to. I think this is part of, kind of circling back to the Blue Moon. I think if we have a policy in place, many of these problems, I think, would be streamlined and rectified. So that is something I'm doing research on. I've put other projects aside so I can now kind of circle back.
Yeah, and I guess I'm not asking to reinvent the wheel. I know
sure.
every town is a little different, but I know some towns do have policy handbooks.
But we do have a town of Barnstable handbook.
Yes.
We do have rules and regulations, and when I'm speaking to policy, I am speaking specific to compliance matters, how they're brought to the board, giving guidance on what we can expect to be punishments, for lack of a better word, but how we kind of conduct our business. There's rules and regs for the licensees, but we are given a lot of latitude with how we handle compliance matters, how we handle, even some of our applications. I know John and I have had conversations about, if your application's not complete, it doesn't get heard. Now, there's caveats to that. We had an application today. They didn't have proof of insurance. As far as I'm concerned, there are licensees that don't get insurance until they get approval by the state. So that's something that on occasion will be a caveat to a blanket approval. So I think these are things we need to discuss.
There are exceptions to every rule and to every policy, and our role as a commission is to interpret it. And, we can either follow the letter of the law or the spirit of the law, and they're totally different. The issue this morning was really based on the spirit of the law, that, we approve them and subject to that coming to you before the event happens. I guess I'm not asking for us to be sort of a penal kind of organization or group. What I'm really asking is that to make sure that from a policy perspective, there's certain kinds of issues relative to what we are held accountable for that would make sense to have something in writing that is a guideline for us so that we can become a better authority, a more effective authority, and we're all dealing from the same playbook, so to speak. And that's really what I'm asking. The comment I was going to make, I know other communities do have that, along with the town handbook that Commissioner Decker has mentioned. So that's my only point. Not asking you to reinvent the wheel. There's only one of you with one assistant. I get that. Maybe that's something that we as a group can also ask the town manager to look into. Your director, David Anthony, is there other support personnel that can come on board to give you a hand? Because there's a lot going on in this town relative to the number of restaurants, number of establishments, number of events, and we don't want to lose you. Other comments?
I would like to see, if it would be applicable, a standardization so that an establishment can't come in and want to stay open until 1, and not the establishment next door is closing at 11:30. I'd like to see a blanket time for either opening or closing, so that you set some kind of parameter. Because I don't feel like any of these licensing things, it's not a suggestion. When you get a license, those are the parameters that your business works around. So you have a certain number of people that you're licensed to be able to have in your establishment, having 20 more because you can make the money on a particular night. And you can sneak that in. And if the police don't happen to stop by, then you snuck that through.
I think that's important. John, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that we've discussed in the past in terms of opening and closing hours, that there needs to be some differentiation. But I agree that perhaps from a categorical perspective, there are those that, there are the 1 o'clock closings, there are the 12 o'clock closings, and, what do they have in common? What are the differences? And come up with some philosophical statements that we could put into a policy handbook so that, once again, better guidelines, for all of us. Any other comments?
I think it's slippery stones, because we have a varied business structure here throughout the town with different types of businesses, and each one has their own unique issues, not only with us, but with running their business. So I think that going forward, we should set some kind of structure, but structure with some latitude, because we don't want to back ourselves into a corner. And we're the ones that's going to get blamed. And I think in that, the current issue that we're dealing with has to do with us being blamed. That's part of the issue. So I think that, but I do agree that we need to sit down and have a lot of thoughts put down before we come to putting it to print.
And, I feel the need to just kind of clarify a comment I had made earlier about when you all receive complaints, I'm here to support you too. So whether you let those people know, look, you need to call Erin or you need to call Officer Kelsey, I do look at this as teamwork. So I am here to support you. I just don't want you to have to take the burden of those calls, and I know people are going to do it anyway. But just know that.
We shall follow up accordingly. Any other questions, issues? Okay, there are no other matters anticipated by the chair, so we can move to an adjournment. But before we adjourn, our next meeting will be on September 24th, 2025, followed by another meeting on October 22nd, 2025. And those should be the last Wednesday of the month. And that's usually when we meet at 10 a.m. for those folks that are watching out there in the general public. So with that being said, we shall entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, any issues, questions on that? Not hearing any. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you all very much.